Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of my year abroad in France. What's good? What's happening? I am in a fabulous mood because tomorrow's Friday, the sun is shining, the tank is clean. The tank is clean. The tank is clean! Comment below if you got that reference. So in this video, I will be talking more about the social side of my year abroad, the cultural aspects and the job itself. The job that I was doing while I was out there. If you want to see more of the admin side of things, preparation, finances, all that jazz, go watch part 1. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. Doing a year abroad is a challenge. It is not easy. I think it was one of the stupidest but also the best things that I've decided to do in my life. No matter how much you prepare, no matter how many blog posts you read, YouTube videos you watch, no matter how prepared you are for your year abroad, nothing compares to the moment when you actually get there, and nothing compares to the actual experience, the actual real thing. This is how you think you will go on your year abroad. Hello, I'm going on my year abroad. And this is what actually happens. So I'll start off with the job. As you guys know, I was a language assistant and I did this through the British Council. So I was working 12 hours a week in 3 different primary schools. I was working 5 hours at one, 4 hours at another, and 3 hours at the third school. So it wasn't a lot of time in total. I had a lot of spare time, which was weird because I'm always such a busy person. I've always got things going on. I didn't know what to do with myself. Mate, 12 hours a week. At uni, technically, I had about the same amount of hours of lectures and seminars, but it was different because I had a social life. I had loads of work to be getting on with. I had societies. I had, you know, my normal life, my regular people, my regular family, friends that were always around me. Here, I knew no one at the start anyway. It was a very, very different environment. I was going from London, you know, a city that has a population bigger than the whole of Scotland, to a town in France, in the south of France, surrounded by a wall that you could walk around in about an hour. Let's just say it was a very big difference. Obviously I was excited to go to the south because the south is meant to be really beautiful and, you know, good weather, which there was for the most part, except that I was there for like autumn, winter and spring, so I kind of missed the best season. Anyway, I was excited, but I was also faced with this challenge, faced with this difficulty of going from living in a city to living in a small place and a sort of a different community, because when you live in a small place, your sense of community is different. In the city, you can be around people all the time and know no one and feel lonely, but in a town, you can be surrounded by the same people all the time and the sense of community is much stronger, I feel. So, back to what I was saying about the job. I was working, 12 hours a week. Where I worked, I'm just going to get some tea, bear with. I am so hungry. But I'm filming this video for you guys before I eat because I actually love you. You see how I'm prioritising you over food? You're so lucky. That would never normally happen. So yeah, I was working with 12 different classes of all different abilities, all different ages, and some of the teachers were very interested in the subject of English, some of them knew it quite well, some of them weren't, and I'm going to focus on the fact that when you go to your schools, all your lessons are going to be varied, and you're going to get some teachers that will expect you to do what you're meant to do, which is to be an assistant. And you will get some teachers that will expect you to be a teacher and they will hand the lesson over to you. They will expect you to prepare everything pretty much. And obviously I've had no training. I'm not a qualified teacher. I'm a student. You know, I took a TEFL module in my second year, but that hardly means I know anything. That is something that I would say to be prepared for if you're going to do this placement. There's only so much intervention possible. One of my friends was doing a lot more than she should have been doing, and she got someone involved to sort of sort the situation out, but you know, it doesn't really work. Like, you just kind of have to bite the bullet and get on with it. I decided that you can have one of two approaches. You can either do the bare minimum, and that's okay, or you can just dive right into the job, do all the preparation, act as a teacher would act if you want to be a teacher, because this is a good opportunity to do so. You know, like, little consequences. It's an excuse for you to try out teaching if that's what you want to do. Well, I still did that, and I'm not sure if I want to be a teacher, but I just thought, you know, I'll get the optimum experience. I wish now that I'd recorded all the things that the kids said to me, all the funny things, all the stupid things, all the weird things, but I didn't. I don't know why. I should have done that. But working with kids is hilarious and also incredibly stressful. You'll get some of them that are super keen, very enthusiastic about learning English, and you'll get some that just don't really care. They don't see the point of it. They don't understand why they have to learn it. So it's really a job that kind of tests your flexibility, your ability to think on your feet, your versatility, because, you know, you do have to cater for kids of different levels, different personalities. You will learn this as you go on. So at first, obviously, I was hella confused. I was like, how do I deal with 101 different types of children? But you do sort of, as you teach, as the weeks go by, you get used to it. You get to know your students, and you eventually figure out a pattern or a schedule. I tended to prepare one lesson, one theme for the week, and then I would tweak it depending on the class. So I would usually do the same thing with the kids each week, but just some of the lessons were a little bit tweaked, because some of the classes were absolutely shite and some of them were pretty good, and then some of them were mixed. So I just had to sort of fiddle around with what I was preparing and get to a stage where I could easily deliver a lesson without too much preparation, too much stress. So that's kind of what I ended up doing. All the teachers were in general really nice, and two teachers in particular, shout out to them if they're watching, Marie Claire and Stephanie. They were super nice to me, and they were just so interested in me as a person, because I think when you get there, you'll find that some teachers treat you as if, okay, you're just like an outsider, a foreigner, a language assistant, coming here temporarily, you'll be gone, so there's no point getting to know you. But then some teachers will actually be interested in where you're from, what you do, and they'll treat you with a lot of respect. And they'll get the kids to treat you with respect as well. They'll be like, she's a proper teacher. She's come all the way from England just to give you guys a lesson on the flipping alphabet. So, behave! So for the most part, I sat with the teachers at lunch. We had some conversations here and there. It was obviously difficult to get really involved, but I'll sort of speak about that in a sec. So everyone, from my experience, was really lovely. Obviously, my friends had different experiences, but for me, yeah, I just kind of went into school, talked to some of the teachers, did my thing, and then went home. So it was chill. It was chill. I didn't have any particularly naughty children. Actually, that's a lie. I had a few naughty children. I didn't have naughty classes. I had classes that were difficult to control, I'm not going to lie. But it wasn't too bad. Like, I don't know, I sort of developed a thick skin, and like, no one had me running out of the class crying because I couldn't control the class. My attitude was sort of like, cool guys, if you don't want to listen, you're just wasting your own time. I don't mind you're wasting my time, but I don't really care because I'm still getting paid and it's not compulsory. So that was sort of my attitude. I'm quite patient, to be fair, like patient, borderline, don't give a crap, but you'll find out how to deal with your kids, and it really is a case of just going with the flow and eventually figuring it out. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but like, I really can't give you too much advice because, like I said, every school's different, all the teachers, all the kids are different. You just have to figure out like how to go about the job, you know what I mean? I would say definitely speak in English as much as possible. This is something that's actually encouraged. You shouldn't really be speaking in the target language, because total immersion is actually one of the best ways to learn a language. So if you're constantly speaking in English, although they might not understand every word you say, eventually through repetition, through sort of body language and keywords that they can pick up, they will eventually get your point. So don't stress too much. Obviously, like, I had some 6-year-olds and I couldn't speak English to them because that would, you know, that's ridiculous. They can barely speak French, let alone English. So I didn't really put it into practice with the 6-year-olds, but for all the other classes, I just went straight in there with English. If they were really, really, really struggling, I would like maybe say some words in French or like do a tiny bit of translation. But for the most part, I did not speak in French in my lessons, spoke mostly in English. So yeah, the job itself was very rewarding. I got to know quite a few of the kids quite well, and I feel like I do miss them. You do get attached, you do get favourites, it's inevitable. Again, like I said in the previous video, it is a question of attitude. So although there are times when you'll get like really, really difficult situations that you can't change, it is a lot about your attitude. If you go into it with a positive attitude, then usually it will be easier and you'll get more out of it. Whereas if you kind of go in with the mindset of like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, then you're just setting yourself up for failure, to be honest. Obviously, I was so scared on that first day. I was like, what am I doing? I have to stand in front of 30 kids and start teaching them a foreign language. They don't even know who I am. What if they just don't take me seriously at all? What if they just make their minds up on the spot that I'm a loser? Because, you know, when you first meet someone, you, I guess, judge them straight away, or you at least form some sort of like opinion about them, whether you like them or not, whether you think like they're going to be a cool person or not. And kids do that as well. So I had all these thoughts running through my mind, and that was scary. But boy, have I gained a lot of confidence through doing this. You know, I have gained so much confidence. I think to myself, if I can do this in a foreign country, I can sure as hell do an array of things back here in the UK. Things that seemed mildly scary here are no longer scary because I've been faced with children. I don't know why my voice keeps breaking, I apologise for that. Anyway, so it did honestly build my confidence so much, and I actually feel as if I could do teaching in the future. I'm not sure if I would do teaching in another country, but I'm sure I could do it here, and I feel like that is definitely something I will consider for the future. So moving on to what I did with the rest of my time, because I had a lot of it. I was worried about making friends and stuff, of course. But you know what? If there's a Facebook group, join the Facebook group. If you have the opportunity to meet up with people for drinks or whatever, because at the start people were always posting things on Facebook like, who wants to meet up here, who wants to do this, who wants to do that. Go for crying out loud. What are you waiting for? Like, sorry, what friends do you have, please? Just get yourself involved. Beggars can't be choosers, as the saying goes. So get stuck in, meet people, and then obviously at first everyone is in a big group and they're like, oh, we all need to be friends, we all need to stick together, and naturally you break off into little groups, which is cool. So I was very blessed in the sense that in our little town there were so many of us, whereas some people will be placed in tiny places and they may be the only assistant there, and you know what, if that's you, my thoughts go out to you. I'm sorry, because that is a shit situation. So I felt lucky that the town itself was small enough that we could all meet up within the space of 10 minutes. Everyone lived within 10 10 minutes of each other. And there was all these people, there was all these other assistants, there was British assistants, there was American assistants, there was a Spanish assistant, there were German assistants who I don't really talk to because they kind of just like went off and did their own thing. But like I said, everyone splits into different groups. So just find out who the assistants in your town, city, village are. I was kind of scared at first when I met everyone because I thought like, oh my gosh, what if I don't have things in common with these people? But you do have to really sort of get to know people. It takes like more than one meeting to form an opinion of them. Although, like I said a few minutes ago, we do tend to judge on our first encounter. But give people a chance. And I feel as if now I've made so many friends, some of them for life, some of them I will definitely see again. And that's amazing. Making friends is fun. If you're really struggling with like the other assistants and stuff, then get stuck into like clubs or find a hobby, or you know, your housemates, depending on who you live with, you could become friends with them. Get yourself out there, you know, be active because that's how you meet people. You're not going to meet people if you're not active. So you really just have to kind of like be really open and friendly to everyone, and it is difficult in obviously your target language, but it's possible. On the subject of meeting people, I live with French people, like I said in my other video, and it was good because I feel like I got the best of both worlds. And for the most part they were nice, although there was some kind of difficulties. I feel as if, like what I said with the teachers, some people are very interested in you and want to know more about why you're here, what you're doing, where you come from, things like that. And some people are the opposite. They don't really care. They think that because you're here for just a temporary period of time that it's not worth getting to know you, or basically they just don't care. So I feel as if like maybe a few of my housemates were kind of like that, and they were sort of put off by the fact that my French wasn't perfect. Like, I had to speak in French to them because they didn't speak English, apart from one guy who then moved out but then was replaced with another French guy who also spoke English. So they might as well have been the same person. I really did try, and it was daunting at times. It was so daunting. There's no correlation between me feeling comfortable speaking French and the person. With some people I felt comfortable and I just wasn't afraid of making mistakes. Other people I was so scared of making mistakes that I didn't want to really speak in French to them. I sort of did the bare minimum. It's really hard when like you're there, a big bunch of their friends are there and they're all speaking French so fast and you're trying to concentrate whilst also thinking of something you can add to the conversation. So thinking of a response to what someone said, or like a question or a comment, but by the time you think of that, they've moved on to another bloody topic. It's natural, it's what we do in conversations. You realise just how sort of complex and fast-paced conversations are. Like, learning French, learning another language makes you think about your native tongue, and it makes you question everything you know about your language. Like the way I was just questioning so many things, like, why do we say this in this way? Why do we say this and not this? Why is this pronounced like this and a word of the same spelling is pronounced like this? I was having an existential crisis basically. But it's interesting, like it's cool to learn. Learning is so cool. I'm so moist, oh my god. I should just dunk myself in this tea right now. It's so hard, and I would just say persevere. Like some days I felt so down. I was just like, why am I here? I'm trying so hard. I feel like I know no French. What's the point anymore? I'm never gonna become a fluent speaker. And then other days I was like, oh my gosh, Rhiannon, yes, girl, slay. Look at you using that big adjective. Oh my gosh, everyone's gonna be so impressed. So it really did depend on my mood, depended on like how things went that day. If I had bad lessons at school, that would often like bring my mood down. But I was quite good at staying positive, to be honest. I think through this, I did sort of develop a strategy to keep myself feeling positive, because you had to, like, with homesickness wasn't something that really affected me too much. I didn't cry like once whilst being in France, but then I guess you don't need to cry to show that you're feeling a type of way. I think my low feelings generally stemmed from the fact that I was in a different place. So I often felt more downhearted because I felt idle. I felt like I didn't have a lot to do, and I felt like I wasn't being productive enough. But I couldn't be more productive because I wasn't in a place like London, so there wasn't things to do. So I think I struggled with a change of routine, a change of normality, and going on social media, seeing all my friends back in the UK having fun being together. I felt like I was missing out, and obviously I miss people, but I feel as if that was kind of where my sadness, it wasn't even sadness, but like my sense of unease stemmed from. There was a couple of points throughout the year. I think the major time that I felt really, really bad was when I came back from the October half term, because it was so dumb. I was in France for like 4 weeks, came back to the UK for half term, the half term holidays, and then went back. But it wasn't, I shouldn't have done that really, because I just like got to a new country. My mind had just sort of like established the fact that I was going to be here for a while, and then I suddenly went back home. So my mind was like, bruh, you were there, now you're back here, so are you staying here? And then I went back and it was like, what? That completely like fucked me up for a day. I was in such a weird place. And yeah, there was just occasions where I'd get these waves of like panic or distress or just like unease. I don't even know, like it was a range of emotions. I can't tell you that it was just one emotion because there were many emotions involved. During those times, it's helpful to talk to the friends that you've made that are in the same situation, because you're all in the same boat. I thought when I arrived that I was the only one feeling that way, because everyone was kind of like together and they were putting on these brave faces, but that's exactly what it was. They were putting on brave faces, like everyone was feeling the same. So this is another reason why like meeting these kind of people is so important, because it really feels like you have a network and you're not alone. We kind of thrive on the fact that people feel the same way as us. We don't want to be the only person that's feeling or thinking like certain things, because yeah, you just need that sort of what's it called, confirmation that you're not the only one. Again, this is why just meeting people and like having people around you to distract you and also to have fun with is really important. Mate, travel. Just travel. This is like one of the things that attracted me to doing this placement, was the fact that I got the opportunity to do so much travelling. Just in and around France, but I even went to Switzerland. Like, we just did so much. And like I said, money wasn't an issue because finances were pretty stable. And you're never going to have this much time or money or lack of responsibility to do these things. So just go out and travel. If you do a year abroad and you don't travel, you're stupid. I'm sorry, but you're stupid. Like, you need to kind of just grasp those opportunities. And it makes me want to travel here now. Like, it's completely changed my mindset. I came back to the UK and I was like, you know what, I want to go on a road trip around the UK. I want to explore London more. I want to see so many other places that I didn't care about before, because I was like, it's the UK, it's London. We take it for granted, but this opened my eyes to just like the world and traveling in general. So I think that was such a good thing. Like, I love it. So just travel, make the most of like weekends, school holidays, bank holidays, all that stuff, and you will really get a lot out of your year abroad, I promise you. I just recommend living elsewhere for a period of time so much, especially while you're young. You learn so much, you become so much more open-minded. Like, you meet all these different people, you experience a new way of life. And now I have that sort of connection to France. Like, if I go there, I don't feel like I'm going to be on holiday, because I'll keep thinking to myself, you know what, I lived here. Like, I was once almost a French citizen. Like, how can I pretend that I'm on holiday when I have that sort of deeper connection to it? And I just, yeah, miss all like the little things. I would wake up, go to the bakery in the morning and get a baguette. I miss the food so much, mate. I just miss the bread, the pastries, just going into like all these different places to do my shopping. The people were like different, you know. The South, they're quite open, they're quite, I guess, more friendly. So like you'd go into a shop, say hi, how are you, and then when you leave, even if you don't buy nothing, like you'll still say thank you, bye. It's nice, and just having those like familiar places that we'd always go to, like certain cafes, certain places to meet up. It felt like that kind of sense of routine, where I would get my coffee from, you know. All these little things are what I miss mostly. I remember just getting sick about like the transport. We have all these inside jokes about France, like, oh, the train's cancelled, of course, France, you know, like all these kind of inside jokes that you can only share with the friends you make in France or in your target country. My housemate introduced me to like French music, like French rap from Marseille. When his friends came round, everyone was doing the kisses, the bisous. I'd never seen these people in my life, and suddenly I've got some guy's beard on my cheek, the closest that I ever get to guys nowadays. But I was kind of like, whoa, this is too much. You know, back home, we don't even like body contact, you know. So, funny times. There were a lot of embarrassing moments, awkward moments. But I feel as if they were all necessary, or at least they kind of added to the experience. They were inevitable because, like, there's gonna be blunders, you know. Oh, excuse me. There's gonna be blunders. But you learn so much. You gain so much. This is the thing. I've gained like masses. I love talking in this kind of vague, flowery language, don't I? I apologise if you ever just get lost with what I'm saying, because I actually do myself. So, all in all, it was the best thing I've ever done, honestly. Like, I could not recommend it enough. Not because it was perfect, but it was perfect. It was imperfectly perfect. That's what made it so good. It's just something that I'll always remember, I'll always have with me. That's what life is about, having these experiences. Don't be scared. Actually, no, be scared. It's alright to be scared. But don't be so scared that you just don't want to do something. Like, you need to step out of your comfort zone, because nothing is going to thrive within your comfort zone. You need to step out of it, because then amazing things can happen. You think, oh, it's a risk. But like, yeah, if you step outside your comfort zone and it doesn't work out, then whatever, you haven't lost anything. But it could. So why would you not want to? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's no good staying in that place. You need to get out. There's so much out there to see. I'm going to stop going on a tangent now, because I always do this. But I would honestly recommend it so much if you're thinking about doing it. Just do it. Don't think twice. Do it. Leave me a comment or even message me if you have any like questions, or you want to know about anything in particular, anything specific. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys. Like, honestly, I have so much to say about it, and it's quite difficult to condense it into a video. So watch my vlogs, you know, if you haven't watched them already. I just thought these vlogs and these videos that I'm doing now is just a good way for people to get a little snippet of what it's like, because I swear to you, when I was preparing, I couldn't find any videos. I think I watched one girl on YouTube, but apart from her, there was no one. Or if I did find blog posts, they were all like, oh yeah, you're abroad, it's so great, best time. But they didn't go into detail, they didn't talk about how sometimes it's shit, or give any sort of advice. Like, I wanted to know the realness, the real shit. So I hope I delivered that to you guys, and I hope you found the vlogs, I hope you found all the videos to do with my year abroad useful. Because at the end of the day, as well as for me, it's also for you. I want you to take something from it. So have a good evening everyone, and I will see you guys in my next video. Much love, thank you so much for watching, and we out.